Hey guys, how are you? I cannot begin to tell you how much I appreciate you guys for paying attention to my lessons, watching them every day, and commenting. Don't ever think that you're asking too much or you have too many suggestions. I appreciate them, so keep them coming in. Today's lesson, I did not plan. You planned it. You asked for it, and I'm going to do it. So in our last reading lesson, I spoke about subject-verb agreement, and a lot of you were telling me, I didn't even realize that nouns were pluralized in this way. Are there any more? Is there anything else I need to know? So I said, I'm going to do a whole lesson on pluralizing or making nouns plural. So here we are today. So our topic, making nouns plural. So again, nouns are the names of people, places, animals, and things. There are two types of nouns. We have common nouns and we have proper nouns. Common nouns, those are like the general names of persons, animals, places, or things. But the proper nouns are specific names. So for example, I am a girl, or I am a woman, or I am a lady. Those three words are nouns, but they're common nouns. Girl, woman, lady. The specific name for this lady, this woman, or this girl is KAYIE Harrison. So you might have a pet, probably a dog. Dog is a common noun, but what is the name of the dog? The name of your dog might be Sally or Rex. Those are proper names. You also might say, I'm going to town or I'm going to school. Town and school are common nouns. They are names of places, but not the specific name. Those are the general names. Now, which town are you going? If you're in Jamaica, you might be saying, I'm going to Kingston or I'm going to Old Harbor. If you're in Florida, you might say, I'm going to Miami or I'm going to West Palm Beach. So those are the specific names and those are proper nouns. Now, today, let's talk about making them capital. Remember, you're going to see the word singular, which means one, and then you're going to see the word plural, which means more than one, two or more. So there are several different ways in which we pluralize nouns. It depends on a lot of different factors. In fact, we have 6 of them on the chart today. So those are what we're going to talk about. The first one is we can pluralize a noun, or we can make a noun plural by adding the letter S. And that's the most common one. We looked at that one the last time in our subject-verb agreement. So here, for example, girl, you simply add an S to girl and make it girls. So one girl, more than one girls. Flower, one flower, more than one flowers. So you simply add an S. That's the easiest one. The next one says by adding ES. We also looked at that the other day when I did mangoes. It says you add an ES when the noun end with S, SS, SH, CH, or X. So if your nouns end with an S or a SS at the end or SH, CH, or an X, when you're making it plural, you add ES. Let us look at some examples. The first one is bus. Bus ends with an S. To make it plural, we add ES, so it becomes buses. This is ass. Ass ends with SS. To make it plural, we add ES, it becomes asses. Arch, CH at the end, it becomes arches. Brush, that we use to brush our hair, it ends with SH. We add ES, it becomes brushes. Box ends with the X, it becomes boxes. So we have to remember these rules. You cannot just look at it and know that this is what you're going to do. This is something that you have to learn. So if you want to screenshot my chart, you're fine to do so, so you can always keep it, always look back at it and remind yourself when to pluralize with an S or an ES or so on. Let's move to 3. We pluralize nouns by adding IES. But when do we add IES? When the noun ends with Y and there is no vowel before the Y. So if you have a noun, name of a place, thing, animal, ends with a Y, there's no vowel before that Y, then you have to change the Y to I and then add ES. So this is it. We have berry. Notice berry ends with RY. So there's no vowel before the R. Before the Y, it's RY. In this case, we're going to change this Y. Can I write on it? Let me get a marker quickly. We're going to change this Y to I. And then we add ES. And this is how we get berries here. Same thing with city. So this is the name of a place, a common noun. It ends with a Y. When you look at the letter before the Y, it's a T. It's not a vowel. Remember, the vowels are A, E, I, O, U. They say sometimes Y. So T is not a vowel. Therefore, our Y has to be changed to I, and then we add ES. So remember, when the word ends with a Y and there's no vowel before that Y, then you have to change the Y to I, then add ES. Let's look at number 4. We make nouns plural by adding S. I know we did S already, but pay attention to this. By adding S when the noun ends with Y, when there is a vowel before the Y. So remember, if there's no vowel before the Y, you have to change that Y to I and add ES. But if there's a vowel before the Y, no changing that Y, you simply add an S at the end. Look at these examples. Key. So the word ends with Y. When you look at the letter before the Y, it is E. We know that E is one of our vowels. In this case, we simply add an S at the end. So we're not changing the Y to I here. Day. It ends with a Y. There's a vowel just before the Y, the vowel A. All we do, add an S. Donkey ends with a Y. There's the E before the Y. All we do is add S. So I'm going to repeat that. There are 2 types of nouns that end with Y. When a noun ends with Y and there's no vowel before that Y, you have to change the Y to I and add ES. When that noun ends with Y, but there's a vowel before the noun, you simply add an S at the end. Guys, you have to remember those rules. It's memory. All right. 5. We make nouns plural by adding VES to some nouns that end with F. I said some nouns that end with F because there's an exception. But look at the ones that we're talking about, the some. So for example, loaf. Loaf ends with an F. And this doesn't have anything to do with the vowels or no vowels. All right? So loaf ends with an F. What we do, we change this F to V. And then we add ES. That's how we get the VES. The F is changed to V, and then we add ES. So 1 loaf of bread, 10 loaves of bread. Same thing with shelf. Guys, remember, this has nothing to do with vowels or consonants. So you just have to remember these rules. Shelf ends with an F, one shelf. More than one, we have to change this F to V and then add ES. So 1 bookshelf, 5 bookshelves. Then the exceptions are chief. So chief ends with an F. Remember, it's not about the vowels. You just have to know these words. You're not changing your F this time. All you're simply doing is adding an S. So if you're talking about the Gulf of Mexico and you're talking about more than one gulfs, you're not changing your F. You're simply adding S. The hoof on an animal, you're not changing your F. You're simply adding an S. So some words that end with F, you change the F to V and add ES. These exceptions, you're not changing your F. So chief, gulf, hoofs, they become chiefs, gulfs, and hoofs with just an S on the end. Last one, we make nouns by adding VES. I made an error there, so I put it up there, adding VES when they end with FE. So here we were adding VES when the word ends with F. This time when the word ends with F as well, we add VES. So what do we do? For example, wife. We take off the FE and then we change that to V and then add ES. So it becomes wives. Knife ends with FE. Take off the FE, change it to V, then add ES. We become knives. Same thing with life. Take off the VFE, add V, and then add ES, and it becomes lives. So guys, these are rules that you have to remember. If you're not remembering them, you're going to make mistakes with them. Let me step out of the way. Screenshot that chart. Zoom it up, have it so you can practice and remember these rules. All right. So now, I don't want to keep you long, so I only added 4 sentences to the board. We're going to do 2 together, and then I'm going to allow you to do 2, and then I share the answer. Fair enough, right? All right. So let's go. It says change the singular nouns, so the nouns that mean one, to plural nouns. Remember, nouns are names of places, people, animals, and things. So as we identify the nouns, we're going to talk about whether it is a person, a place, an animal, or a thing. And we're going to realize that, yes, nouns are really names. Number 1, the accountant made an entry in the book. Accountant is a person. Entry is regarded as a thing. So in this case, it's a thing. It's not an action. He made an entry, meaning he wrote something in the book. So that's a noun. It's not a verb here. And the book is also a thing. All right? So the thing that he put in the book, that's the entry. All right, so now we have to change the whole sentence, but we're not going to rewrite the whole sentence. We're just going to change the nouns, singular nouns to plural. So accountant, if we think about the rules, there's no F at the end, there's no FE at the end, there's no Y at the end, so we're simply adding an S. So ACCOUNTANTS. Accountant, simply adding an S. Entry, it ends with a Y. What does the rule say about Y? If there's no vowel before the Y, we have to change it to I and add ES. If there's a vowel, we just add S at the end. Is there a vowel or a consonant? It's a consonant, no vowel. So we're taking out this Y, changing it to I, and then add ES. So it becomes E-N-T-R-I-E-S. Entries. You have to remember the rules. That's the key. All right. Book. Simply, we're adding an S. No Y, no VE, no F. We're adding an S. Number 2. The mongoose hid in the bush beyond the gully. One mongoose, more than one mongooses. So we add an S. Hid in the bush. Bush ends with SH. Who remembers the SH rule? We simply add ES. So it becomes bushes. Alright? Beyond the gully. Gully ends with Y. Think about the rule. Is it a vowel or is it a consonant before it? It's a consonant. Should we change the Y to I or should we just add S? When it's a consonant, we change the Y to I and add ES. So it becomes gullies. Number 3. Number 3. Yes, you know it's your turn. Number 3 and 4, they are yours. The baker put the burnt loaf on the shelf. Go ahead, write those words. Write the plural. Baker, shelf. The thief was in the chimney. Just write the plurals. You don't need to write the whole sentence. Write the plurals down. And if you're in the car watching it and you don't have a pencil and paper, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell someone what the answers are. All right. If you're not done, pause it. I trust you. Pause it and then come back. I didn't talk about what these are. So mongoose, that's an animal. Bush, that's a thing. And gully is also regarded as a thing. All right. Baker, that's a person. What did you put for baker? It ends in ER. All we need to do is add an S. Bakers. Loaf ends with an F. What's the rule? We change the F to V and add ES. So one loaf, more than one loaves. And then shelf. What do? We change the F to V and add ES. So remember, we're changing those F's to V's and adding ES. Remember, the only exceptions are the chiefs, the gulfs, and the hoofs. The others, we're changing the F to V and adding ES. All right. The thief is a person, was in the chimney, which is a thing. Thief ends with an F. We're changing that F to V and adding ES. Then chimney ends with a Y. What's the rule for Y? The rule says if a vowel comes before the Y, we simply add an S at the end. So it becomes chimneys. No IES there, no. And if you write it, you would see that it doesn't even make sense because EIES wouldn't make sense. So no, if there's a vowel before the Y, you're simply adding an S. No vowel before the Y. If there's a consonant, you are changing that Y to I and add ES. That's it, guys. Changing nouns to plural. So as I said before, guys, study those words, study those rules so that you remember them. Once again, I want to thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your comments. And I will see you in the next video. Just keep sharing, keep liking. And if you have not yet subscribed, then please hit that subscribe button. Thank you.